Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 2CTV, your global news channel. I'm Maya 2C and this is your latest news update, this time from the United Kingdom. Last night we had a major attack on a train in England, multiple casualties, at least two are still suffering from life-threatening injuries. Two suspects have now been arrested, but we're going to be giving guys all the details of this because the mainstream media since last night have not really been covering the truth. The authorities are lying to the public as usual, but we have to expose what's actually going on. We're going to get your reaction live during the show as usual. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this whole saga. Nobody is safe anymore in the Western world, especially in the United Kingdom. Let's talk about what we know. We're going to go and show you the statement, the video statement, the speech by the police, as well as an eyewitness who has now spoken out as well. First things first, several people were stabbed on a train, on an LNER train from Doncaster to London King's Cross. The actual stabbing happened around the Huntingdon area in Cambridgeshire. The train then stopped there. A few minutes after that, the East of England ambulance service was alerted just before 8 p.m. UK time to the report of several people who were stabbed. So that was the initial thing that we heard. It took a while to get the actual details of this. Now, I'm going to show you the video of what we had from just after the attack. The reason for this is because there were enough eyewitnesses. I'm going to show you one eyewitness that explained in graphic details of what was actually going on. It's absolutely terrifying. But the most important thing is actually the suspects and the identity of the suspects. Let's go. All right, I'm going to explain. So this is just after the attack happened. As we said, the train was coming from Doncaster to London King's Cross, and it happened a few minutes after the train left Peterborough at 7:30 p.m. Witnesses reported a man armed with a large knife and passengers who were hiding in toilets to escape. The train made an emergency stop at Huntingdon at 7:44 p.m. The police were called at 7:39. And the East of England ambulance service launched a large-scale response involving air ambulances, tactical commanders, and of course the emergency response team with a critical care team. Two British nationals were arrested. They remain in custody. Now, the problem with what the media have been telling us and the authorities, one thing is about the suspects, and one thing is about the motive, what type of attack you're dealing with, right? So both of them, they say they're British born. They were born in Britain. One of them is a 32-year-old black man, black British. The other one is a 35-year-old man of Caribbean descent. So not necessarily Anglo-Saxon, white Anglo-Saxon, European Brits. Considering that two of them did this at the same time, there are clear indications, and I can assure you at this point the authorities know, they're just not telling you, because they would have told us. And I'm gonna show you the video statement by the police, by the way.
I think they're going in the front of the train now.
They are saying that this is not terror because the government and the British state want to change the definition of terror. They want you to think that the only way something is a terrorist attack is if it's publicly announced by the attacker that I am doing this in the name of, for example, the Islamic State or a political motive. The true definition of terror and a terror attack is a pre-planned attack with a motive to terrorize a people of a country. You don't have to have the attacker publicly telling you, by the way, I also support, I don't know, the National Socialists of Germany or the Islamic State. The literal legal definition of terror is pre-planned. So not just someone who just gets angry and stabs people. No. Pre-planned in order to terrorize a people. And that's literally what happened. But they're still saying, well, we can't really call it a terror attack because it didn't say it was part of ISIS. That's not how it works. They want to redefine what a terror attack is. They want to redefine it, saying, well, no, that person should have told us, the attacker should have told us, I am part of this political movement or that political movement. Otherwise, it's not a terror attack. If you pre-planned it, you already hate the people that you are trying to attack. You are terrorizing the people you hate. That is literally, legally speaking, the definition of a terror attack. Now, that aside, let's talk about one of the eyewitnesses that we now have, Ollie Foster, who was traveling on the train to London. He spoke out.
I was in Coach H. I was literally just listening to Audible on my phone. And then I had guys suddenly run past going, run. There's a guy stabbing literally everyone, everything. There was a few of us kind of looking at each other like thinking it was a joke, like it's Halloween, I'll be pranking. But then you could kind of see in their faces they were being serious. I kind of got my stuff and I was running and everyone was really pushing behind us, really panicking. And at this point I was kind of asking questions like, what's happening? Like, who is it? And they were like, a guy's just stabbing everyone back there. Put my hand on this chair, like just trying to push myself forward. And then I look at my hand and it's covered in blood. And then I look at the chair and there's blood all over the chair. And I'm thinking, okay, this is pretty serious. So some of the guys that had ran through to kind of alert us to run, they were the ones who had also been stabbed. So we're running over and getting to the edge of the carriage, still trying to work out who is it, what's their intentions, what's their motives. I just knew they were stabbing everyone. And someone kind of said they thought they had a gun, pulled the emergency alarm and just trying to work out, can we barricade the doors, can we lock the doors? But we couldn't really. And then by the time I got to the end of the carriage, I realised I was actually at the back of it, and there was about 6 of us. There was a girl, bless her, who was really, really in a bit of state because the guy had actually tried to stab her, and one of the older guys, who's an absolute hero, blocked it with his head, and he's got this like gash. He had this gash on his head. He's got I think a gash on his neck, and he's we're kind of giving him like our jackets to keep the pressure on the blood. And while we're doing that, there's a person that I know, and he's kind of looked at me and gone like, have you got anything we can use in case he comes through?
There's at least 10 ambulances, 12 ambulances.
We had a Jack Daniels bottle between us and that was it. So we're kind of sitting there with one Jack Daniels bottle, just looking down the end of this carriage, just praying somebody doesn't walk down with a knife, with a gun. We didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah, so that was from one eyewitness, of course, Ollie Foster. There was a lot of other reactions to this. I'm going to show you the official response and reaction from our lovely, lovely government, including our stupid Prime Minister and also the Transport Secretary. Before that, earlier on, a few minutes ago, we had the police giving us an official statement. I'm going to show you the video in a second. But I want to get your reaction in the live chat because this whole thing is simply about the fact that they did the same thing with Southport, with Axel Rudakabana, saying, well, we can't really consider this as a terror attack because they want to redefine the meaning of the word. Let me know what you think, because this is just basically, all people care about is the fact that they are not safe. We've recently had people getting attacked for simply traveling on the train. We've had people being attacked for walking dogs. We've had people getting attacked for simply opening up their local shop. And many more examples. Now, let's go to the police statement and see what they had to say a few minutes ago.
Good. Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Superintendent John Lovelace, and I'm here to provide you with an update on the incident at Huntington Station that took place here last night. It's a shocking incident, and first and foremost, my thoughts are with the family and friends of those who've been affected and those who are injured. At approximately 7:42 p.m. yesterday evening, there were calls to the police service in relation to multiple stabbings which took place on board a train service that departed Doncaster at 6:25 p.m. and was en route to London King's Cross Station. Officers immediately attended Huntington Station alongside paramedics, where armed police officers from Cambridgeshire Police boarded the train and arrested 2 people. Within 8 minutes of the 999 call being made, 2 men were brought into police custody, where they remain this morning. I can tell you that these are the first male, a 32-year-old male, a black British national, and a 35-year-old man, a British national of Caribbean descent. They were both arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. Both were born in the United Kingdom. As stated, they remain this morning in separate police stations for questioning. 10 people were taken to hospital by ambulance, and another person self-presented later that evening. While 9 were initially believed to have life-threatening injuries, following assessment and treatment, 4, thankful to say, have been discharged. However, 2 patients remain in a life-threatening condition. British Transport Police declared a major incident yesterday, and counter-terrorism policing were initially supporting our investigation. However, at this stage, there is nothing to suggest that this is a terrorist incident. This is a British Transport Police investigation, and we continue to work to establish at pace the full circumstances and the motivations that have led to this incident. At this early stage, it would not be appropriate to speculate on the cause of this incident. As you can see, the station this morning remains closed. However, we expect trains to be passing through the station this morning. Passengers will see a high visibility presence of police officers at stations and on trains throughout today, up and down the transport network. Our officers are there to reassure the public and to address any concerns they may have. I'd like to thank the public personally for their patience and their cooperation.
Shut up.
Yesterday evening, which has already greatly assisted our investigation through the help the public have tendered, as well as the multi-agency response partners from colleagues in other blue light services. I'd like to extend my thanks to our colleagues within Cambridgeshire Police, the East of England Ambulance Service, Cambridgeshire Fire and Rescue Service, and counter-terrorism policing. And finally, I'd like to appeal for anyone that's watching who has information connected to yesterday's incident, however big or
It's
small
not an
you feel
incident.
that may be, that has not yet spoken to police, to make contact. You can do so by texting the British Transport Police on 61016, that's 61016, quoting reference 663 of the 1st of November 2025. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I won't be taking any more questions,
Not,
but thank you very much.
It is not an incident. I don't care what he says. It's not an incident. It was a pre-planned attack in order to terrorize innocent people of this country on the train. Now you can stand there, read from his pre-written statement. Also, they're not really clarifying. This is where it gets... if I were to do, just for the sake of the argument, political correctness, because you have to call them out. With one of them, they say Caribbean descent. The other one, they say black. Well, we know that what they mean is 99% sure they mean African, because otherwise, why would you say black? Just be clear, because you're essentially outlining the Caribbean guy, right? Fine. And then somehow you also want the public to tell you why they did this. You want the public to send you information about the motive of what you have the suspects. Anyway, that's part of the procedure. The problem continued because of the reaction from our idiotic leaders. We had Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, saying that the appalling incident, it was an incident that was appalling, apparently, on a train near Huntington is deeply concerning. Oh, deeply, not just moderately. My thoughts are with all those affected, and my thanks go to the emergency services for their response. Anyone in the area should follow the advice of the police. Wow. Visionary. I'm pretty sure I hope that he came up with this by himself, because I don't know how can anyone write a statement like this after an attack like that. It gets worse, because we also had the Transport Secretary, Heidi Alexander, saying, "My thoughts are with those affected by this shocking incident on a train near Huntington." Shocking incident. Okay. I am getting updates on the situation, and we are working closely with the British Transport. She's just bragging. Oh, I'm getting updates. You're not. It's just idiocy. The whole thing is stupid. And then we had other weirdos. I'm just going to explain. I'm going to show you one of them, because this, what I call the surrogates of the political left. So you got the political leaders, you got the media, the liberal media, then you got the surrogates. These are the proxies. These are the ones who they use on social media to basically round up the minions to just talk nonsense, right? There is a guy called Harry Eccles, right? And he's a liberal lefty weirdo, left-wing political vegan, whatever he is. And this is just one example, because he's not the only one, what I'm about to show you. There are many throughout the day doing the exact same thing as this idiot. There we go. This is what he posted. The far right, whatever that is, the far right are looking for excuses to try and cause instability here in the UK. A bunch of innocent people got attacked. Apparently it's the far right's fault. Last night's tragedy is already being weaponized by hate mongers. All decent folk must come together to stand against fascism, against division, and against the far right. Let's stand for peace. So, okay, if you say so. But from what we can see, and ordinary people out there, the only instability and hate being caused here and being created is done by people like last night's suspects. But according to Harry, ordinary British natives expressing concerns about their safety, that's more of a problem than the actual attackers. He didn't even call them out. It was a tragedy. At least it's still better than what the Prime Minister and the government ministers have been calling it. Incident. A shocking incident. Anyway. There's more information coming out, but this is where I need your response, because I hope I'm not alone in thinking the way I'm thinking. PC says, Maya, I used that line often, so scared now. Oh, the train line, yeah. Libel says, first thing, the police guy did was what? The police guy did was to pat himself on the back. All the police guy did, yeah. Over how fast they were there, as if 8 minutes requires a space rocket to get to a station. Good point, Libel. Yep. Can you carry pepper spray in the UK? You will be arrested. Yeah. So defending yourselves in the UK is you're not allowed to defend. You're literally not allowed to defend yourself. I'm not joking. So obviously pepper spray is not allowed. Anything that you could, if you could injure or harm an attacker who's attacking you, you're not allowed. But in a serious way, legally speaking, in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, you're not allowed to actually defend yourself. The official line from the Home Office is, if something happens to you, you must contact the authorities. If you even try to defend yourself, if you harm an attacker, you will be in trouble. There was a pensioner a few years ago, an old man whose house was broken into, and there was a burglar who was attacking him. And the old man defended himself, I think it was with a cricket bat or something, baseball bat, and he hit him. And the attacker died, and the old man got into trouble. Like, it's absolute insanity. In his own house, in his own property. Anyway. If this is an isolated incident and not a terror attack, why are they increasing the police presence at major train stations until Tuesday? That is absolutely spot on, because the one thing that they've now announced is that they are now increasing security across all train stations. Somehow we have enough police officers now to send them to all the train stations, which kind of makes me think that right now, if you want to do a terror attack anywhere else, you can get away with it, because we don't have enough police officers. If they're going to send police officers and they put the transport police everywhere, then there's going to be a massive gap across the whole society. But if this is just two crazy people, mental illness attacking, then why are you scared about other train stations? Obviously, we know that they know, and they know we know, that there is a threat. There is an ongoing threat every minute. Graham says the gaslighting has begun. They are British. It's not terrorism. An isolated incident. I've already seen a lefty saying Farage is responsible. Have they not blamed Tommy Robinson yet? Because, come on, guys, it's 2:30 now. Somebody needs to blame Tommy at this point, right? That's usually how it works. The Bell also says they said 2 men dressed all in black. What did we see in London recently? An entire Muslim army dressed all in black, but don't speculate. Yeah, no, that doesn't mean they're Muslim, okay? Because Antifa also wear all in black, like fascists. Yeah, this is just for stupid mentality. Maya Spammer Pally Flags in the chat. Oh, hello, Pally Flags. I don't see them. I need to find the username. Thanks for that. Vander says, how much of this utter BS are we meant to take? The police statement is a disgrace, gaslighting at maximum level. Yes. So the police want us to think it was just for fun. Mental illness, right? They're not even saying that now, because it's been overplayed. So they're just going to come and say, attempted murder. They just woke up and they thought, I'm going to do some murder today. Why not? It's Saturday. Hazel says the police have lost all credibility since the Southport stabbings. That wasn't described as a terror incident either at the time, despite the fact that we know it was. But yeah, it was a Welsh choir boy. Big B says, be ready at all times, people, to defend yourselves and your families. Onwards, Christian soldiers. And I don't really care what the Home Office says. I still advocate for people to do self-defense. Even if you get into trouble afterwards, it's still better than dying. I'd rather get arrested than just randomly die because I'm told not to defend myself. Maria says that we have exactly the same in Sweden, thanks to our politicians. Yeah, it's an epidemic across Europe. You guys are literally getting your asses handed to you by your own government, and you are literally funding it. When does it kick off? Does it ever? Because it hasn't by now. Yeah, I've already explained the issue with the British mentality compared to the other cultures, like the French, for example. Yeah. Someone says that you are focusing a lot on semantics. It was an incident in terms of occurrence that the police are investigating. I don't think this person knows how the British state works. The apologists. Let's see. And yes, it is appalling and shocking. Do you not agree? This is a perfect example of why lying politicians and corrupt states, including the police and the media, do this. They do this. They say, let's just go with shocking incident, isolated incident, because we can trick these people. We're going to have these guys on our side, because they're going to say, yeah, I looked in the dictionary. The attack last night, it was shocking. Yeah, the Prime Minister told me it's shocking. So it's shocking. What is it? Is an attack? An attack is also an incident that happened. Yeah, so the Prime Minister is right. And also, it wasn't nice, right? What's the word? Oh, it's appalling. They said appalling. Yeah, of course, but that's true. These are political words. It's not semantics. And for example, calling something or not calling something a terror attack, and instead calling it an incident, these are not just words based on the dictionary. These are political words, and they have meanings, and it changes the narrative. Depending on what word you use, it changes the whole atmosphere, and it changes the way you react to it. Now, the police might tell you that it's just an isolated incident, but their action already suggests that they know is a terror attack because they have already increased security across all train stations. If this were in fact an isolated incident, just the crazy people going around and getting angry or drunk and targeting random people on the train, you would not increase security across train stations. That's never happened in the history of humanity. It's extremely important to explain the political wording and the political policies after any incident, whatever the incident is. But they get these guys, the naive people, to basically do their bidding, saying, well, it's shocking, that's it, then let's move on. We don't need to do anything afterwards. Okay, I found the spammer. Their username is Persian. The person the username is Persian, you are spamming. I can't find them now. Great. If you spam by copy and pasting, you will be banned. Otherwise, we don't have moderators on this channel. You could say whatever else you want to say. Free speech for everyone. Just don't be a weirdo. Can't find him now. It's fine. When it comes up, I'll get rid of them. Yeah, it's the one with the Mamdani profile picture. There we go. It's gone. All right, next. Libel says, where can we flee to? This happens everywhere. I don't know. A remote island in Scotland? Probably. Carry what you need to defend, then say that they had it. Imagine. Yeah, they're still going to find a way to blame you. Thank you, Barry James. Mr. K says, one person can be mental illness, but two people is planned. A planned multi-person attack is terrorism. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's just common sense. Now, you can then get into a conversation of specific motive, and fine. I would give this to the police, the Home Office, and the government in general. We are waiting for you to investigate, to find the specific motive of what type of terrorism. Did they just hate British people? Did they just hate people who take the train? That's still terrorism. You're terrorizing society. We'll wait for that. I don't really care. But at this point, if they investigate and tell us the truth about the motive, if they find it, then that's nice. The overall motive, the overall intent was to terrorize. A pre-planned attack because you hate a group of people. That's it. Or the country itself. These leftists suffer from a stress syndrome. Look up strategism in the 1930s and what happened to them. I think it's fitting because the same thing happened in Iran. Yep. Yeah, I mean, this is just, as I always say, I repeat myself, it's masochism brought to you by sadists. Cynthia says, personally, if I lived there, I would be carrying some protection. Better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6. I mean, the only thing that they say you're allowed to do is to wear a stab vest when you walk around. The problem with that is that there's no guarantee that you'll be safe because a lot of the attacks and stabbings could target your neck or your head. In the case of one of the guys last night on the train, they went for his head. So you can't really cover your head. What are you going to do? Wear a bike helmet? Because you'll be arrested for doing that. If you wear a burqa, it's fine. Cover your face, that's fine. But if you wear a helmet, then obviously you'll be arrested because it's very, very dangerous. We can't see your face somehow. It really depends on how you cover your face, because in this country, you're not allowed to cover your face because of safety. But if you do it in the name of Islam, it's fine. Yeah, of course. You can just be whatever you want to be. It doesn't matter that you could be a security risk. Crazy. Anyway. So this was the follow-up update on what happened last night. And there's going to be more details coming out later today and tomorrow which will keep you guys posted. If you want to support the channel and our team here and our new independent media revolution, make sure to become a member of 2CTV Plus by scanning the QR code, or just go on 2c.tv. If you use the promo code YT10, you will get 10% off annual memberships of 2CTV Plus. And don't forget to download the 2CTV app. I'm Maya 2C, and we are the media.